Whoever said money cannot buy happiness, I fear they didn't have enough money, okay? Money could, and I kid you not, okay? You see what type of car I'm driving? You see? This right here? This takes the windows down, okay? Money could change a lot. I'll be happy. Shit, I just worked a 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. shift. Money could do a lot for me right now. I promise you, I'll be cheesing from ear to ear. Teeth and palms. Every time I see anybody, teeth and palms. People are gonna start calling me Smiley. Fuck. And even if money don't fix happiness, I'm broke. So I'm broke and sad. So I'd rather be happy and sad. Shit. You know what I'm saying? It sucks. And it hurts to be broke and sad. That shit make you wanna,
Hey, welcome back to This African Perspective. Thank you for stopping by. So we're going to be checking out videos about rants pertaining poverty. A lot of people are tired of being broke. They're tired of being in poverty. That is never a situation that is like pleasant or something anyone want to be in. It's a situation where we find ourselves. But yeah, so we're going to be checking out a lot of rants because people are actually fed up with the situation. Before we get right into this video and check it out, I want to give a very big shout out to Joseph for sending me a $20 cash app. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. A very big shout out to Leah for sending me a $2 super thanks. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. Make sure you please click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time. Let's get right into it.
Everybody's saying a breakthrough is coming. Just wait on it. I know things are bad. Just wait on it. I'm going to tell you right now, y'all ain't got much time left before I start doing crime. I got a message from my bank app, an email from both the company and my bank, and a text message from both saying my payment declined. Y'all just got in contact with me 6 different ways to tell me I was broke. Watch your mouth. I should not have to be holding my breath with my chip inserted, trying to see if this $5 of the gas is going to go through or not, and then having a sigh of relief because there's a line behind me. My car does not have insurance, does not have gas, and the AC don't work. And I don't know if you ever drove in the South with no AC, with the air we have to chew just to breathe it, but it gets you kind of sticky.
Talk to me, y'all. You got the rent, the light bill, the gas bill. You may have a car note. Got to put gas in the car. You have to keep the maintenance on the car. You may have children that are in school or in sports. You do work 40 hours a week, but by the time they snatch the taxes out, you have just enough to cover your bills. Your next paycheck is already accounted for because it's going to the same bills. How are y'all maintaining? How are you maintaining your sanity? I am tired. And I know we in the era where we want to show everybody that we have it like that. But I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I ain't got it like that. You work a job where they don't. Some people, now this, I know a lot of people, they'll work overtime. My job doesn't offer overtime. And by the time I get off, everything else is closed in my area. Or you try to work remote, but these jobs, they'll place some listings on Indeed, but they ain't calling you back with a great resume, right? How are you all maintaining? Life is very expensive. And I remember like years ago where like minimum wage was like $10, $12 an hour and we were living. Why is it that every single thing is expensive now? How are y'all maintaining? How are y'all doing it? Everybody is not a business owner. Everybody can't be content creators. So I get it. Like for the people that's like me, that has to have a 9 to 5 or 11 to 7:30. How are y'all doing it? I shouldn't have to wake up and money be on my mind. So whereas it's bills. Recently I took a vacation and I tried to block out my thoughts, but it was nothing but bills on my mind. How are y'all doing it? Why are they going up on rent like this? Like, who? $700-800 in taxes just snatched out of our checks. How are y'all doing it? I'm tired. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop. But something has to give. It's getting very weird.
I just want to make enough money where I don't have to check the prices. Like last year, I had 2 jobs and I didn't have to check the prices for nothing. I'm talking about I used to spend money. And now I'm working 1 job and I'm feeling it. I'm living paycheck to paycheck, which I'm not trying to be ungrateful or complain, but boy, is it a big difference. Like, I have to budget for everything now, and I hate it. Like, just seeing people who like have the comfortability, not even like having to have the 6-figure job just to be able to go in the store, buy whatever they want to without checking prices. Like, I miss it so bad.
Financial literacy courses are a scam. Most of the time, you're not financially illiterate. You're just a worker trying to survive under capitalism. And guess what? You are not alone. Millions of American workers live paycheck to paycheck, not because they don't budget well enough, but because the system is rigged against them. Let's talk about Alex. Alex makes $1,500 a month working 2 jobs, but their bills total to be about $1,800. No budgeting app or financial literacy class can teach them how to stretch a $1,500 paycheck to cover rent, groceries, gas, and childcare. Their rent has jumped 20% in 2 years, but nothing has improved. The landlord hasn't fixed the leaky faucet, replaced the broken heater, or even cleaned up the disgusting roach problem. They're charging more for the same broken down apartments because they can. Meanwhile, Alex's grocery bill has doubled and the gas tank eats whatever is left. They've tried cutting back by skipping meals and turning off the lights, but the numbers still just don't add up. And yes, it is important to know where your money goes and how it's spent and how much things cost. But these days, financial literacy courses have become nothing more than well-off people telling you to eat peanut butter sandwiches and stop buying lattes, insulting advice for someone already struggling to afford their basic needs. Worse, people shame you for things that are beyond your control, like rent hikes, medical debt, or childcare costs. They say don't live somewhere you can't afford, but where can we afford to live? Everywhere we look, landlords and corporations are price gouging, jacking up prices on everything from housing to eggs, and these aren't imaginary problems either. Companies have been caught red-handed inflating prices, claiming supply chain issues while raking in record profits. Just last year, the CEO of a major grocery chain admitted that they were raising prices just because they can. The result? Nearly half of all Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That's not just people like Alex scraping by on minimum wage. It's middle income earners making $50,000 or even $100,000 a year. And still, they're one medical bill or car repair away from financial ruin. For lower income households, the situation is even bleaker. 36% of people making under $50,000 a year spend nearly every penny on necessities. And why are we like this? One word: capitalism. Wages haven't kept up with inflation, and while CEOs rake in bonuses the size of small nations' GDPs, the rest of us are told to just budget better. And don't even get me started on financial literacy classes. Many of these classes cost a small fortune, sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands, and sure, there are free ones, but let's be real. Learning to balance a checkbook isn't going to help when rent takes 50% of your paycheck, groceries take the other 30%, and then gas eats the rest. So what's the most bitter irony of it all? Paying for a financial literacy class just to still be poor. Alex took one last year and it cost them $50. It taught them how to make a spreadsheet and set savings goals, but you can't save what you don't have. The problem isn't you, it's the system. If we're going to fix this, we need to stop blaming workers for bad money habits and start holding corporations and landlords accountable for price gouging. Until then, financial literacy won't solve the problem. It's just another bill on a long list of things we just simply can't afford.
Are we all fighting for our lives financially right now, or is it just me? I have a good degree. I work 3 jobs. I budget the hell out of my money to an annoying obsession. Like, I'm watching every single penny I'm spending because I'm trying to pay off all of my student loans. But times are tough right now. Like, man, I feel like the more you work, the more you have to pay for. And it's tough out there right now. Like, I think I do well, and then I look at my bank account and I'm like, oh my God. Or I go to the grocery store and I'm like, oh wow, eggs are $10 again. Woohoo. Like, man, it is tough right now. And sometimes I feel like I'm the only one, because sometimes I'll look and I'll be like, oh my God, all these people I know are like traveling and buying nice things, and I'm like, wow, how? Is there a secret? Someone help.
Whew, okay. As a 32-year-old millennial something who has consistently house hacked, lived with other people, went home, lived with my parents, currently live with someone now, and always worked full time, had 2 degrees, for all intents considers themselves a professional, like did what I was expected to do, and still always stressed and always worried about finances and income. They lied. They lied to us. And I often ask myself, okay, what are you going to do? And so I ask you all, what are you going to do? We cannot continue to live the same way. We're not going to get the benefits and the privileges of past generations. So what are we going to do to take care of ourselves? Yeah.
Living in an economic situation that is like not really good, it is actually kind of bad. Already stressed with that, and then now you have to also deal with the constant pressure that we have, the constant pressure we're also putting on ourselves, the pressure or the expectations that is like they have for people, especially those who are like at a certain age where they feel like they're in their late 30s, where some people feel like they're in their early 30s. Like those are the age where they be like, oh yeah, you should have done something like really good with your life, you should have done something to actually make yourself more stable, you know. And then when you get to that point and you feel like, you look back and you're like, I really don't have nothing, like that's a lot of pressure to carry. It's a lot of thoughts that you just be thinking like you have failed yourself, you have failed in this world. And then it makes me kind of understand why most people are like, hey, like, you know what, I just want to exist, because it is so stressful. Not a lot of people will be able to make that certain standard, that the standard that has been set, or the expectations that people might have of you at a certain like age. But then I feel so happy for people who say they just want to live and exist and not stress too much about all these things, because it can get really depressing and very, very stressful.
I make almost twice the federal minimum wage, and I am still thousands of dollars below the poverty line. I am homeless. I live in my car. I cannot afford to rent an apartment. I can hardly afford to live in my car. Food is expensive, and it's tough times, you know. I work 40 hours a week. I am not in an entry-level position. I am in a skilled position. I make twice the federal minimum wage, and I am poor. And if that isn't the most late-stage capitalism thing, if you want to buy me a meal, my Venmo's in my bio.
If I'm going to be forced to work for the rest of my life, can I at least get a work environment that doesn't make me want to jump off the nearest bridge? Or maybe some pay that allows me to pay my bills and still feed myself after I'm done. If we all must be forced to work, can the work conditions be a little better? That's all I'm asking. I just want to work somewhere pleasant and have enough money to survive. What's not clicking? Like, do we really have to all go on strike for real for something to happen? Like, do we actually really just all have to get up and say, fuck these jobs for real? Like, is that what really needs to happen? Do we have to take it that far? Like, just pay us what we deserve and be pleasant. That's all we want.
Being poor is really expensive. For example, I need a new used car, but I can only afford a car that's about the $2,000 to $3,000 range. I can't really afford anything from a dealership or to get an auto loan. After scrimping and saving and looking at cars for months and months, cars that had all sorts of crap wrong with them, I found one that seemed like okay and seemed like trustworthy people to buy from. I went over to them, checked out the car, gave them my hard-earned money, and then on the way home I had a blowout. And then after I had a tow truck, a very expensive tow truck because I can't afford to have AAA, tow me to a repair shop, I get told that 3 out of the 4 tires need to be replaced. And also the wheel well that's holding one of the tires on is messed up and that needs to be fixed. So now this cheap car has cost me an extra $400. And then driving it home from the repair shop, the blinkers go out. Plus a myriad of other problems with this car that I don't know about yet. Money that I don't really have, that I'd been saving for months in order to have a car that I thought would be reliable and take me around town. Because I never will be able to afford a new car. And that's just one of many examples on how poor people having to buy lower quality stuff
means that they spend more money over time maintaining that shitty stuff or buying more of that shitty stuff than someone who could just buy the nicer thing.
Okay, so these are the new digital price screens. So the whole goal of these is to adjust the prices on the items as they become more in demand. So for example, right now these are 90 cents. Let's say around 6 o'clock or during the busier time, these will go up to $1. They'll fluctuate based off of demand. So these are connected to the Wi-Fi and to the registers. Once the inventory on these items become low, the prices will start to shoot up to $1.20. They're gonna start incorporating all these all over. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. I'll come back later on in the day and you'll see this go up and down in price. You'll see it go as low as like 89 cents, which is pretty crazy.
I'm going to be checking out videos about how embarrassing it is being poor.
I'm from Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know where that is. If you don't know where it is, just look up. That's where I grew up, and that is where like I still live when I'm not in Athens. But I grew up in a very low income area. We had roaches for a long time, probably till I was like 6. And y'all, I used to have so much shame about where I lived, and I used to not want people to come to my house, and I would just feel real bad about where I was from. And my parents always take like good care of me. Like, my parents are amazing parents. They always took care of me and my siblings. Like, they always make sure we were straight. Like, my parents did an amazing job. And I remember like middle school, I would ask my friends to come over. Like, my friends wouldn't really come over. It was this one girl who always come to my house. Her name was Janiyah. And she was the only person who didn't make me feel bad about where I lived. And I had another friend, Lauren, too. They made me feel really good about like where I lived. They never really judged me for that or anything like that. Like, the neighborhood I lived in wasn't really that bad. It was just like the outside neighborhood, if that makes sense. And cause like I was really like, I lived like, I can't describe that for y'all. But where I lived, it was okay. And I remember vividly in middle school, I had a friend. And my friend had came over there for like, I guess you could say play date, whatever. It was middle school. And I remember when she got there, her mom was just like looking at us kind of crazy. And her mom told my mom like, hey, next time they have a play date, like I want it to be at our house because, you know, I lived in the hood or whatever. And that just made me feel like I never want to invite nobody ever over my house ever again. Like, y'all, I'll be so ashamed. Like, my boyfriends, I would never let them come to my house. I would let them pick me up from my cousin's house because, like, I was just really ashamed about where I came from. And I just felt like, you know. And then one of my boyfriends came over there to drop something off. And he was like, oh, you wasn't lying. Like, you live in the hood for real. And, like, he said it as a joke. But I was just like, dang, like, this is what people gonna see every time they come over here. I don't want nobody to come over here. And now that I'm grown and that I've seen different things, I just want you to know, if you're in that position and if you live in a lower income community and you feel bad about growing up in a poor community, or you feel like you're not good enough, or you're not as good as the other people who live in nice houses or not places, y'all, go to UGA, the University of Georgia. This little girl that is from Cleveland Avenue that went to South Atlanta High School is at the same school that people who lived in Sandy Springs, people who from Gwinnett, people who from Dublin, people who from all these other counties that are so much, you know, economically better than the part that I'm from. We in the same place. The same exact place. You are worthy of reaching your goals. You're worthy of being more than just your environment. You're more than what is around you. Like, your environment can make you who you are, but you do not have to become a product of your environment. Like, you can take the values and the things that you learned from your environment and go other places and build on that, and then come back to your community and help out and help the people who are just like you. Like, I go back to my high school all the time because I know what it's like to feel like, you know, you didn't really see nobody doing real good from you, or like the alumni from my high school. Like, the alumni they all went to the same schools. And to be able to put myself in a position where I'm like, okay, do you in the same place as the people, like, you know, I don't know. I just want to encourage a young man or a young woman or anybody that's in a lower income community and don't feel like they never going to make it out, or they never going to amount to people who live in higher income areas. I want you to use me as an example. Somebody like
growing up in poverty, being a poor person, how embarrassing it can get, and how you just feel so ashamed about it, especially like in the society when you're meeting new people and you're communicating with some people that are most likely or not in the same situation as you, how it's just gonna look.
I show up to work every day with a smile on my face, but I'm over here paying $600 in insurance, $500 on a car note, $120 for a cable bill, $500 in credit card bills. Like, so you mean to tell me I give up 40 hours of my week to get money, enough money just to cover my bills, and I'm still supposed to enjoy my life outside of work 2 days out of the 7 days of my week? 2 of those days I'm supposed to handle my responsibilities and have fun with the little bit of money that's left over after my bills are paid, and then keep going back to work for 40 hours. And you only use 16 of my hours to have fun, and usually I won't use up all the 16 hours because I have other stuff to do. That's crazy. This is insanity. I think I'm gonna move to Europe. Yeah, that sounds like the best solution.
Groceries are getting too expensive, and so I'm going to see how long I can go without going to the grocery store and only making meals based on what I already have in my fridge and pantry. For reference, the last time I went to the grocery store was November 26th, but that was only to get things for Thanksgiving. So the last time I went to the grocery store for things for my general life was November 19th. Today is November 30th. I am guessing that I can make it 7 more days, but I think I could probably stretch it to get to 10. I think the first couple of days will look normal, and by day 4, we're just gonna start losing it.
A girl who's talking about looking at your bank account and seeing what you have as a balance before purchasing or buying anything at all. Of course, like, people do that. Like, that's what happens when you're broke. Like, if you have a lot of money, right, you are like, you feel like you have enough. Like, if you've had that period of time in your life where you had so much money, I promise you ain't gonna be checking your bank account. Like, you wouldn't even be checking the balance. You would just be, giving your card, like, here you go. Like, you just be tossing it out there, like, yeah, use it, like, just do whatever. So you wouldn't really care. But when you're broke, you're gonna be counting every little cent that leaves your bank account. Like, you'll be so cautious about it because you'd be empty and have nothing. Like, you don't want to be at zero. It's when you're broke. Like, you have to be broke before you do that. But when you have a lot, then most people do not really check it when they have a lot of money, when they know they have so much in there. You've made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for making it. Please don't forget to click the like button, as it helps with the algorithm, and I definitely appreciate that a lot. And subscribe to the channel. If you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time, make sure you hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. I will see you on the next one. Bye.